Do you miss your sister? Yes.
Good morning. So we've been talking about electrochemistry now. Electrochemistry involves an oxidation reduction reaction. So that means oxidizing agents and reducing agents are involved. So let's answer question 1. Name 2 common oxidizing agents and 2 common reducing agents. So what I would like you to do is to write in your notes 2 common oxidizing agents, 2 common reducing agents. And see if you come up with the same oxidizing and reducing agents as the person sitting next to you.
Yeah, it's too bored. The projector. There you go. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's creepy. It is screamed out. It is screamed out. Alright, so what are 2 common reducing agents?
I don't want to
Okay, so can you name 1 common oxidizing agent? Yeah, so bleach is 1. Can you name a 2nd common oxidizing agent? Pardon? Huh? What did you say, George? Fluorine. Okay, there's another one. But that's not really a very common one, is it? Is fluorine a common oxidizing agent, though?
Yeah,
What about water?
iodine?
Iodine is 1. What about another one? Pardon? Yeah, chlorine is 1. What another one? Cobalt metal or cobalt ion? Cobalt metal or cobalt ion is an oxidizing agent? Yeah, cobalt ion is an oxidizing agent. Is that a common one though? Now what's one that you can buy in the store besides bleach?
Hydrogen peroxide?
Yeah, hydrogen peroxide is 1. Yeah, so the 2 common ones which you can buy in the store, hydrogen peroxide and bleach. Can you name 2 common reducing agents? Yeah, so zinc metal, reducing agent. Copper iron or copper metal? Yeah, copper metal is another one. Acetic acid is a reducing agent. Lithium metal? Yeah, lithium metal is another one. And the other ones? It's really, when we talk about the activity series, any metal is considered a reducing agent because a reducing agent itself loses electrons. So we know that okay, so an oxidizing agent okay, so an oxidizing agent oxidizes another substance. And then the oxidizing agents gain electrons or lose electrons? Yeah, so the oxidizing agent gains electrons. In other words, the oxidizing agent, is it being oxidized or reduced? Yeah, so the oxidizing agent is being reduced. And if we do the same thing for a reducing agent, so a reducing agent reduces another substance. And the reducing agent is, let's see, so the reducing, is it gain electrons or lose electrons? Yes, this loses electrons. And this means that the reducing agent itself is being oxidized. So when we compare metals to non-metals, are metals oxidizing agents or reducing agents? So a metal such as, you're telling me, lithium, potassium, sodium, copper, all those metals, yes, so those are going to be the metals. Are reducing agents, which means that for oxidizing agents, these can be metals or non-metals. Yeah, these are non-metals. So some of the non-metals you were telling me about fluorine and chlorine and bromine and iodine, and then for the metals, say lithium and potassium and copper, and you mentioned a few other ones too. Okay, let's go do question 2. Oxidizing agents, reducing agents have a different ability to gain or lose electrons, so we can actually determine or look up that ability on table 19.1. So let's rank the following oxidizing agents in order of strength. So bleach, hydrogen peroxide, oxygen, iodine. So of those 4, which one is the strongest and which one is the weakest and which are the ones in between? Yeah, so there's where you can find this information. So you can rank it by looking at table 19.1. So let's take a look at table 19.1. So tell me, based on table 19.1, which one is the best oxidizing agent, which one is the worst? write down a few of these substances from this table here.
That's like a
Okay, so from table 19.1. Okay, so note that these are reduction potentials, so they show a half reaction of something being reduced. So right at the top of the table they show fluorine, so they have F2 plus 2 electrons going to 2 fluoride ions. So is fluorine an oxidizing agent or a reducing agent?
oxidizing agent.
Yeah, so as we discussed, this is an oxidizing agent. Now, for every oxidizing agent, there's a corresponding reducing agent. Okay, so just like for every acid, there's a conjugate base. So if fluorine is the oxidizing agent, that means that the fluoride ion is the reducing agent. And on table 19.1, it shows here that as you go down the list of reactants, so fluorine is the best oxidizing agent, O3 or ozone is the second best, and so on. So hydrogen peroxide is actually the fourth best one on this list. So as we go up this list, we have the strongest ones at the top, and then the weakest ones at the bottom. So if you have a strong oxidizing agent, is this corresponding reducing agent going to be strong or weak? Yeah, weak. So note that fluoride, this is going to be the weakest. So that's going to be the weakest reducing agent, and then the one at the bottom is going to be the strongest reducing agent. So if we look at those four substances, bleach, hydrogen peroxide, oxygen, and iodine, which one of those is the best oxidizing agent? Okay, so let's see. So H2O2 is the fourth one down. Okay, so that's actually the best one. And which one is the next strongest? Let's see. So there's H2O2, and then we have where's bleach? Bleach. You see the ClO minus ion in there somewhere? ClO minus. Yeah, so bleach, so sodium NaClO. So we know that this is, what type of compound is that? Yeah, that's an ionic compound. So this breaks up into sodium ions and the ClO minus ion. So the ClO minus ion is actually the oxidizing agent in sodium hypochlorite. Is that on there? No. No? Okay, they have CO2. So CO, actually, did we talk about bleach chemistry? No, we just talked about pool chemistry. We'll substitute CO2 then for that. Okay, so after that, let's see. You see oxygen and iodine in there? So where's oxygen? Let's see. So oxygen is, where is it? Oh, so it's right below chlorine, so oxygen is below there. And then for iodine, iodine is below that. Okay, so there's our ranking. So hydrogen peroxide is the strongest, then iodine is the weakest. Now, table 19.1 also shows the corresponding reducing agent. So the corresponding reducing agent of H2O2 is, okay, so we write down our reaction. We have H2O2 plus 2H plus 2 electrons, and that produces, let's see, that produces water. Let's see. So the corresponding reducing agent for H2O2 is water. And then for chlorine, the corresponding reducing agent is the chloride ion. And then for oxygen, let's see, so for oxygen here, it says that oxygen reacts with 4H plus to produce to produce water. Okay, so note that water is a reducing agent, is the corresponding reducing agent for hydrogen peroxide as well as for O2. And then for iodine, so the iodine is reducing agent. So of those reducing agents, which one is the strongest reducing agent? Yes, note that I minus is the strongest reducing agent. Now we can use this table just like we use the activity series. So note that fluorine will react with any reducing agent below it on the table. Okay. It will not react with anything above it. So for example, Cl2 will react with H2O2 or I minus, but it doesn't react with the fluoride ion. Okay, so that's the same way.